Welcome to the English Mystic Podcast. I'm your host, English Mystic, Dragon Shaman, Spirit Whisperer, and Mr. Explorer of all things seen and unseen. You're tuning in to a very special series honouring the epic Dragon Thunder Summit 2025, a worldwide gathering of visionaries, dragon channels, energy workers and soul-shifting guides. The summit brought together 36 incredible speakers from across the world, each sharing their unique gifts, wisdom and connection with the dragon realms. In this podcast series, we're diving deep, one episode at a time, into the essence of each speaker, their transmission, their gifts, and all the healing and awakening and dragon connections they've brought forward. To explore more about each speaker or to access the full summit replays, visit www.dragonthunder2025.com. Now breathe deep, call in your dragons, and let's step through the portal together. Our next speaker is Nicola Brettell-Smith, and she guides us on a land-based dragon healing journey, activating Sophia and Mary Magdalene dragon codes to reconnect with our ancestral wisdom and the sacred landlines and our sovereign feminine power.
Hi, I'm Nicola. I'm an intuitive, a dragon channeler, the creator of the Sophianic Spiral of the Dragon Rose, and I'm also one of your hosts here for this year's Dragon Thunder Summit. So, for those of you who already know me, you probably know some of my story. So I'm just going to give a little tiny recap because it kind of is part of what today's talk is about. So, to start with them, for dragons, they have always come into me through my dreams. I see them, I hear them, but predominantly they come through my dreams and they give me little messages, often with things on places to go, what to do. And, we all have free will, but when a dragon speaks to you and they're quite heavy on your head, you kind of think, well, I'll just, I'm always curious, so I want to see what's happening. So usually I go and I follow what they say. So the first place that they gave me to visit was Avebury, which is a great big stone circle, one of the largest here possibly in the world, but here in the UK certainly. And it's kind of shaped like a dragon and an egg as well. It has an egg in the center of it. So I also went to Avebury thinking that something wonderful was going to happen. And other than, the energy of the place is very beautiful and it was a wonderful day, absolutely nothing happened. So off I trundled back home, a little disappointed, thinking, well, why did you send me there then? Because nothing happened. But when I got home, I went into my healing room and I just felt compelled that I wanted to write. So I did. And then suddenly, as I was writing, I had 6 healing dragons that appeared to me. And each one of them, they were different colors and they showed that they related themselves to each of our chakras or powerhouses, as they like to call them. And so I saw these dragons, and each one then gave me an energetic transmission, which have now been recorded into meditations and are part of the Dragon Code Spiral in the Sophianic Spiral of the Dragon Rose program that I have now. But at the time, when I received these energetic transmissions, I didn't know what to do with them. And to be honest, all the dragons hadn't yet come through anyway, because I predominantly work with 13 healing dragons now that are part of this course as well. So the dragons brought through this, energetic transmissions, and I didn't do anything with them. And the problem is, if we work with dragons or any of our guides and we're starting to get information, particularly if they're giving us information that's to share with the collective, and then we don't do anything with it, often that can block more information coming through because, we haven't done anything with the first bit first. So I still didn't do anything with it though. But they did come back to me, and this time they kind of set a little bit more of a challenge. And this was to channel for 30 days, sharing their words of inspiration or wisdom, and to share it on my social media, which I had total fear of doing. But I did it anyway. And the main thing was to surrender to the outcome. So I wasn't to even, have a goal or to think about why I was doing it. I was just to do it and to share. So I did this, and these channelings are also in my free library that you'll see the link to. So you can actually watch all of them if you wanted to. So there's 30 channelings, although there's more now because I've channeled more since. So this is what I did. And at the end of this, that's how I became a speaker, and also now I'm one of your hosts. So it's always like if you follow these little threads that the dragons give you, um, something bigger that you could perhaps dream of, or opportunities present themselves to you. And I've had this again another time that I got asked to go to Avery, which is when I met Caroline Mitchell, the Dragon Lady, or the original Dragon Lady, I should say. And I went along to that as well, met her, we've become friends now. And, next year we're running a retreat in Scotland. So again, amazing things can happen if we just keep following these threads and see where they take us. So these channelings then, these 30 days, as I say, have now been, I think there's around about 74 of them. They also include seasonal spirals as well. And for one of the years, I was channeling the portals, so the numerological portals like the 1122, so on. So they are also now in this deck, which is behind me here. So this is now part of the Dragon Wisdom Codes Oracle card deck, which is finally printed, or at least this is the first one. But hopefully by the time you're watching this, because this is pre-recorded, hopefully there will be a link down below and you'll be able to purchase your own copy if you want to. And you also get with this a free journal, which you can then basically pull one of the cards per day and be inspired and see what it might invoke in you, and then you journal that. So over 30 days, just like my journey, you will hopefully be inspired, and something will come through for you. So this is what I'm going to share with you today, some of the cards from the deck. And I'm going to start with the 7/7 portal. But the main aim of today, what the dragons have asked me to do, is to actually bring us into our womb heart and to help reconnect the womb and the heart together. And there will be a little channeling later, a little transmission from them. I don't know what that'll be because I just channel in the moment. So we'll see how that comes out. But I will be sharing some of these cards, which will build a kind of story and lead us into the womb heart. So I'm going to start with this first channeling then, the 7/7 portal doorway, because we've literally just gone through it, or are still on the last cusp of it, shall we say. So the 7/7 portal doorway. Your imagination is your greatest gift and strength, linking you to the truth of who you are. This is a source of your intuitive guidance, free thinking, and connection to the wisdom of your soul. Where does your imagination lead you today? So, not all of them, but some of these cards have a question at the end of it. So, of course, you can always come back, watch the video, journal on that later if you want to. So this transmission talks about imagination, and one of the things that I find, because I help my clients empower them to connect with their intuition, with their spiritual gifts, and one of the major blocks I find is actually saying or questioning all of the time the information that comes through from our guides or from our higher self. Is this my imagination? And completely guilty of it myself as well. I do ask that a lot, especially when the dragons came in. I was like, "Am I crazy? Am I hearing things? Is this real?" But actually, that was what was blocking my intuition at the time, and it would stop more things from flowing through. So, we do actually need our imagination to help us connect to the other world or to the spirit world. It doesn't mean that we're making it up, unless, of course, as a collective, we're all making up that we see dragons or hear them or feel or sense them around us, and, including our ancestors, because dragons have been seen across the world for millennia. So that was just really a little reminder about, our imagination, that if we question all the time what we're hearing, seeing, sensing, feeling, that doesn't perhaps match what we think we should be seeing, for example, dragons, then that will actually block that from coming through. So our imagination actually, helps us to do that. So you may notice the painting behind me is one that I channeled, and I'm definitely not any artist. I don't pretend to be, but I felt this real impulse that I wanted to paint, and I think it was after speaking to Dina. Actually, she's one of the other speakers here, and she's brilliant with her art and her dragon art. And I think I just had a conversation with her, and afterwards, I just felt like compelled that I wanted to paint, and this is what came through. But she sat there unfinished for an entire year, and it was probably, yeah, about a year later that I felt like I wanted to finish her. And this is when the spiral of her eye came through. And I had a sense and a feeling of what her name might be, but I wasn't entirely sure. So last year I did talk about her, and I asked if anyone wanted to give it a go and perhaps give her a name. Partly because I was, intrigued to see if anyone would pick up the same name, but I also loved all the names that came through too. So I felt that her name was Sophia because of the spiral, that aspect of it that came through, and the golden threads that were there as well, and the different colours that were within her seemed to have this feeling of Sophia, or that's what I felt anyway. So she is named Sophia, and she's also now obviously part of the deck. She's also infused with all the words here as well. So her energy is there on all of the decks. As you work with them. So Sophia then means wisdom. And for many of us, this is what we're seeking. We're seeking our inner wisdom, our connection to our higher selves. And often we do the seeking outside of ourselves. We're listening to other people, we're reading books, we're, doing courses. And this is all great. But this stays as knowledge. And it doesn't become wisdom until we actually, practice it or take it on board and actually embody it. So the wisdom, of course, the dragons are always telling me, and many forms of spirituality, we are told this as well. All the wisdom that we ever need is within us. So this is the next card that I'm going to read to you with the transmission that really kind of emphasizes this. So, you are all keepers of wisdom. You are looking upward for the golden gates of heaven to open, when instead they are inside of you. You already have the key to unlock all of the wisdom you will ever need. And the problem is, to access our wisdom, we need to trust our intuition. And that means not questioning, is it my imagination? But we also need to reconnect to the divine feminine and allow her to rise into our hearts. So many of the stories that we create that cause this energetic block sort of to the flow of accessing our wisdom within is often created through a disconnection to the feminine within, particularly through the earth wisdom that has been suppressed over centuries by the patriarchy. So the Sophia dragons have asked us to remember who we are, to call back our light, to call back our soul fragments that have been splintered out through these stories and experiences that we've had that have, dimmed our light. So the Sophia dragons are asking this just in the same way that Sophia in the Gnostic text descended down into the earth because she wanted to experience life. And in doing so, her light was fragmented and she forgot who she was. So the Sophia dragons are here to remind us to remember who we are at a soul level. So I just want to share with you next a transmission from, or a message from the Sophia dragons themselves. So in the wilds of the wilderness, the feminine resides. She emerges in each and every one of us if we only let her. She is the full creative, expansive potential of everything, and she is the stillness and empty silence of nothing. So, if we look again at the spiral in the dragon behind me, this spiral is the way how we return home to ourselves by traveling inward. This is the way that we can access our inner wisdom. Now, the ancient feminine path was to descend into the cave, into the earth, or into the womb portal of Gaia, the earth goddess herself. So our ancestors did this, they went into the caves, they painted the spirals there on the caves, and they would go into there for their initiations. Perhaps they would be accessing their inner wisdom, particularly the shamans. And this is what I'm finding out here in ancient Albion. And I have talked about this before. It's all in alignment with the Cygnus constellation, the swan priestesses. So they would have gone inside these caves as a way to connect with the womb of Gaia. They would have accessed the shards of life, the shards of light that came from the Cygnus constellation, to allow that light to embody within them and receive the information that they could take back and help their community with. Now, all the while that they'd be in these caves, of course, they would be connected to the earth through the dragon lines. The dragon lines are often in sacred spaces where the churches have now been placed, or where the sacred springs are, anywhere that there's a convergence of these energies, and that's sort of where the geomancy was born. So these dragons then are often seen as guardians of the cave, or guardians of the treasure that are inside the caves. And this treasure is often a symbiology, or a symbol of our own treasure that is within us, which is our inner wisdom. So when we connect with our inner wisdom, we're actually spiraling inwards to the center. And it's through the spiraling of the center that we let go of old stories. And this is where we find our light again. And it's in this light that we find our sovereignty. And our sovereignty essentially is our dragon power. Now, this next transmission that I just want to share with you is about dragon energy, and it sort of summarizes what I've just said there. So dragon energy then is pure creative empowerment, honoring your sovereignty and weaving one's own power without anyone else. So when we return from this spiral, we return renewed and we expand outwards. Our energy expands. We can connect to the abundance of all that is. New ideas form. We look at life from a new perception, and this, continues to grow until we meet the next challenge, I guess, and then we, go inwards again. So it's this constant dance of going inwards to access our inner wisdom, and going outwards to expand, and shedding along the way. And our ancestors knew this, and perhaps it also represents almost that death and rebirth as well. And this is why, as I say, it was placed, the symbol of the spiral was placed inside the caves as drawings, and it was also perhaps as labyrinths on the in the earth as well, that you could walk through these spirals to receive your inner wisdom. The spiral itself is like this creative force, just like the cosmic. It begins as a spiral. The cosmos, I mean, the universe. It started as a spiral. The plants start as a spiral. They unfurl their leaves as they grow. We humans start off as a spiral as a fetus inside the womb. So the spiral is kind of representing this growth that we have leaving the womb, and when we come back to the womb to receive new information and to gradually find our light, as it were. So often you'll see this creative force of a spiral represented as a rose, because it's this force that is actually created through the union of the divine feminine and the divine masculine. So I'm going to share this next transmission with you, which is about the spiral. Um, so life is a spiral of alchemy, the natural world birthed from the belly of Gaia to the galaxies and stars of Sophia. This is reflected in your own life as a spiral through life, like the spiral of the Fibonacci sequence. You grow and progress forward, then you take one step back to heal, recode, and balance before you can grow again. Life is not linear, stagnant, or hopeless. You are always moving forward, even when it seems you revisit old problems. But now you can see them from a new lens. As your wisdom grows, so does your perception, awareness, and unconditional love for one and all. So, for us to come into a mastery of this unconditional love for one and all, the dragons really were showing me or telling me that we need to come into union with our own feminine and masculine within. And the dragons really demonstrate this because they already are in union with the feminine and the masculine. They have this full feminine serpent energy that rises upwards, and they have their wings born out of the dove or the swan from above. And that's what creates this dragon. They have the energies from above, the cosmos, coming down to meet those energies from the earth below, and they expand outwards at the heart. And this essentially means that they're in their full sovereignty. That's what you're working with. When you work with dragon energy, they are always helping you to find your power. To call back your power and to find your sovereignty. And to help you do this, they help you to master and bring that divine feminine wisdom that's within, that has been suppressed over centuries, to allow that to rise and come into union with the masculine, but the divine masculine, that is, that's within us. And that is pure dragon energy, and that's what the dragon can represent. So when we work with the dragons, we are building our I am dragon body. We're mastering our dragon energy within. And Merlin was one of those that was able to master that energy within. He masters all of the elements as that alchemist: the air, the fire, the water, the earth, and he brings it together into his full sovereignty. Now, I believe that Mary Magdalene was first a dragon priestess, that she, had to first find her dragon body to be that healer, to clear and cleanse her powerhouses, to be that clear channel for the divine, to bring her, her feminine, her masculine into union. And that was the representation of her with Yeshua, that they came into this union together. Mary Magdalene was this full embodiment of the Sophia, and she carried the codes of the spiral through her rose lineage. Now, she wasn't always seen as perhaps a priestess, or the equality that she held with Yeshua. She was often, she was branded a whore at one point, and now, of course, she is the apostles of all apostles. But we have to kind of go back to the language as well, and in aromatic, I can't say the word now. Sorry, it's aromatic, or the different different words, like in Sumeria, ancient times. So there were many different languages, and the word "hor" is often means womb, or also to mean dragon priestess, or just dragon. Sorry, can also mean holy one. So, yeah, I just love looking back at language and the way that, things perhaps have been misrepresented, and to see them for what they are now. So, yes, I definitely think she carried the codes of the Dragon Priestess, which, yeah, I'll share a little bit more about in a minute. But when the very first dragon that came through to me, I saw a red dragon. So I first thought that this dragon, this beautiful red dragon, was Mary Magdalene. But actually, it happened after a Reiki attunement, and a lot of people have seen a red dragon. It's often the first dragon that comes in for most people, especially if they've had a Reiki attunement. So there are others that also say that perhaps this energy is Isui, and so he is the red dragon, and he helps us with our healing and bringing that energy body of the dragon on board. Now, I do believe this to be true, but I also believe that this red dragon carries the codes of Mary Magdalene as well. And the dragons kind of confirmed this to me and reminded me that, there is this duality, and that there is, in each dragon, they hold this feminine and masculine energies, because that's what creates their dragon body and makes them, that union coming in together. So I really think it's holding the energies of both of them. So these red dragons, when we see them, for Mary Magdalene, they're often there because they're helping ignite the flame of the womb and the wisdom that's within, and to remind us of our inner power, or inner feminine power, I should say. So I'm going to read this next message from the dragons. Um, And this is from the story of the red dragon. So the first dragon that came to me was red. He told me he was here to ignite the fire within me, that he was the guardian of my treasure, and that the jewel he was guarding was my inner wisdom. And now it was time to cleanse and activate my root chakra, to awaken my gifts and shine my light with those who were seeking. Are you ready to awaken your gifts and shine your light bright? If not, what is stopping you? So call on those fire dragons to clear and cleanse negative energy, so that you can access your unique jewel. So take that one as you will. So I've just talked about the dragons that are the Sophia dragons, Mary Magdalene's dragons, Atsui's dragons, and I just want to mention here that we each have a personal dragon who are our protectors and our guides. And something that the dragons mentioned to me this week is that when we die, the dragons live on. Our personal dragons live on, and they contain the codes to our soul essence, because a personal dragon holds our soul essence. It's kind of a reflection of us back. So these dragons can be connected with by other people who are resonating at that frequency, or want to access that wisdom and experiences that our soul has held. So I'm just going to read the next transmission here, which kind of also confirms that as well. So each of you have your own personal dragon to assist you, protect you, support you, and help you adjust and release your fears, your worries, your anxieties, so that you can step into your power and become more authentically you in a world that is very unauthentic. So back to Mary Magdalene then. Her dragons are often seen in different colours. So we have the red dragon, which is often related to that womb healing, as I say, and igniting that inner flame that's within us from that womb area, and igniting our inner wisdom. She is also, her Magdalene dragons are sometimes seen as black dragons, and perhaps these ones carry the codes more of the black rose, and these are her lineages that she would have had to Hathor or Isis, and also sometimes I see Pele there as well, with this sort of any of the dark goddesses. They carry that energy of the ancient feminine wisdom that's connected to the womb of Gaia. So that's the black dragons. The Magdalene dragons are sometimes seen as blue or kind of sapphire dragons as well, and they carry more of the codes, the nurturing codes of the Mother Mary. And often as well, we can kind of see that separation between, if we look at Mother Mary, she's in her purity, she is the nurturing one. And then we have the fallen of Mary Magdalene, that kind of more sexual priestess. And there's this disconnection between the two of them. So this is what we're going to do later when we bring the womb heart back into more of connection. We're kind of bringing those two back together, because perhaps they were even one person. Well, not one person, but they're carrying the codes of one, and it's been separated again through that kind of suppression of the feminine. Sometimes the Magdalene dragons are also seen as green dragons, and these are her connection to the plant priestess, or holding the alabaster oils and creating the oils, as that kind of helping the deaf priestess and helping to the other world cross over back into the womb, as it were. So you have these green dragons often represent the earth, and here in what was ancient Albion, we see it reflected in the Green Dragon pubs. We have pubs and Swan Priestess pubs, and not Swan Priestess, but Swan pubs. The Swan Inn is what I mean to say. So we see these green dragons are reflected perhaps also in the stories of King Arthur, where he's trying to find the Grail, the ancient Grail, or even Maid Marian and Robin Hood. They're carrying the sort of green men lineage and the link back to druids and the sort of pagan uh, symbols and way of life that was had before it was integrated more into perhaps the Celtic church, which has very much changed, and isn't like that now. Now, talking of the Holy Grail, which may have actually represented the womb or the lost feminine teachings, it was Joseph of Arimathea who was thought to have brought the Holy Grail here to the UK, and he was thought to have set up one of the first churches, which was at Glastonbury, which was built over a dark well, or it's known as the Dark Well. A lot of churches were built over the springs, sacred springs. And it was in my kind of search with the dragons that they led me to find the Dark Well, because we're used to seeing the white springs and the red springs, but they were like, when I was sat in the white springs, the dragon said to me, "Go and find the Dark Well," and I didn't know that existed. So this kind of led me down this whole path of Mary Magdalene and sort of that understanding of it as well, and how she may have been this dragon priestess. Now, Joseph of Arimathea he was a guardian of the Marys, and he was also possibly the uncle of Yeshua. And he was also, I think he was like a Roman, he was very wealthy, but he was also a druid. So he had like many different titles that he held over his lifetime. And part of his druidy, he was a high priest of the druids. And I think that took over 25 years or so in training. And he had the teachings within that, were all of the feminine path, and this is what he integrated into these very first Celtic Christian churches. So as I say, they were very different to what they are now, and I think the other sort of first churches would have been in Iona in Scotland, and also somewhere in Wales, but sorry, I can't remember where. Now, as I said earlier, Mary Magdalene is the embodiment of Sophia. So perhaps this is why her dragons are seen in so many different colors, because they're carrying some of the different aspects of the feminine, or the ancient teachings of the feminine. And we will see them in the different colors, perhaps depending on where our soul essence is, residing, or what frequency we're at, or where we are at it within our own journey. So I believe that when the Magdalene dragons kind of show themselves to us and want to work with us, that they are, encouraging us to, see through the suppression of the feminine and the distortion of the feminine, and to bring this feminine and masculine into union in just the same way as Magdalene and Yeshua were in union together. So I'm going to share with you an affirmation that is from the Magdalene dragons. So, an affirmation from the Magdalene Dragons with unconditional love to you. I am worthy of being heard. I am worthy of being seen in my full feminine expression. I trust my inner wisdom and lead with my intuition. I am a bright healing star, and I am not afraid to shine my light. Now, I also asked the dragons, why are they here right now? And this is one of the first questions I asked them. And so I'm going to again read this transmission to you as well. So they say, we dragons are here as guardians of Gaia. We are elementals and we are multidimensional beings raising the frequency of humanity to match the rising frequency of Gaia. We are here to balance and bring harmony to the masculine and feminine principles on the planet and within you. We have been before, but our love, protection, and support was not recognized for the pure intentions that we were guided to be. We are back, and for those of you wishing to connect with us, you only need ask. You will find us in the hills, the mountains, the forests, and the clouds. We speak to you through the wind and the rain, and we visit you in your dreams. If you let us, we will transmute your worries and anxieties into your own personal dragon power, where you will experience freedom, love, and where your soul essence resides. So the dragons here are also reminding us that, to reconnect our inner dragon, to reconnect to our nature. And they also want us to remember that we are multidimensional beings as well. And here is what they have to say about that. So, just weaving the threads together. We are all multidimensional beings, including you. Gaia is not stuck in the 3D or even 5D. Many interdimensional species connect to you through Gaia, the Earth Oversoul with crystal technology and stargates above and below. If you can connect with us, then you too are a multidimensional species, meaning that you can connect through many multidimensional levels. All is never what it seems. Trust yourself, use your own discernment, and question everything. What lies are you being told? What lies are you feeding yourself? Deep dive into the abyss and trust that you have the answers to all your questions. And if you can't, have that faith. Trust that you have access to all the answers to your questions, as you have the support of Gaia, your ancestors, us dragons, and your guides. You only need to ask. So that's a reminder there that we all have a free will, and the dragons always help us to step into our divine will. But we do have to ask them if we want their help. And it's also just reminding us, that we sort of looping back to that beginning, that the answers really are within us. That they're not, they might seem like they're hidden from us, but they are there if we, sit in that stillness or go back into that, the womb of Gaia, finding a place in nature, connecting with the elementals, and these answers will come to us. So I just wanted to sum up, what the dragon energy is, and then I'm going to take us on a very short meditation with the dragons to help us connect this energy and activate our dragon womb heart. So let me just read this first. So dragon energy then is pure alchemy. We dragons guide you to balance your divine masculine and feminine energies until they are in harmonious union with one another. So that from this place, your creativity can birth new ideas from the heart that are aligned to your soul purpose. The alchemy stems from sacral and solar plexus energies dancing together with creative and aligned action anchored into Gaia and drawing up through the heart into expansive, limitless possibilities where you can manifest directly from source point. Now, for us to step into this full abundance, this expansiveness and access these limitless possibilities, the dragons really wanted me to share with you today that our womb, our energetic womb, and our energetic heart. So it doesn't matter whether you're male, female, or no longer have a womb. We can all access the womb of creativity that is within us. So they're saying that there is a disconnect between our energetic wombs and hearts, and they want to help to bring this together so that we can kind of bring these visions through into physical form. So the womb can often represent like the fire energy, the earth energy, and the water energy, and the heart can often have this air energy within it. And there's this separation. We're often either in our hearts or we're in our womb. So if you're in your heart, you're most likely kind of connected to this full you find perhaps forgiveness easy, or you're not necessarily easy, but you're working on forgiveness, or perhaps you're working on gratitude, and unconditional love and doing self-care practices. So it's very easy for us to be in the heart, especially with giving, or you may be in the womb, which is where your creativity lies, but you might have all these creative ideas, but they don't come into full form. And that's because of that disconnect where, the ideas and creativity that come into the womb need to go through the heart. They need to be connected to our soul essence, to, fully come into a form that is, helps us to live in our purpose, as it were. So this comes back to that disconnection between the masculine and the feminine that's within us. And often you'll be sort of told that the feminine tends to be our left side and the masculine tends to be our right side. But with this one, the dragons are asking us to look at, the upper part of the body being the masculine and the lower part of the body being the feminine. And we're going to connect those two together in more of a spiral formation. So the womb area is often thought of, if we look at, say, Japan, it's seen as the hara. If you were in China, they'd call it the dantian. And if, here in the Celtic times in the UK, it would have been an island as well. It would have been known as the lower cauldron. So it often sort of covers that root area, the sacral, and also sometimes a little bit of the solar energy as well, although the solar plexus has that sort of lunar energy as its opposite energies. So so we're going to sort of go into a meditation now, because I think, if we experience it first, and then I shall share with you this light code here, of the dragon. But I think it's good to experience it first, and then I can read what that means to you. So let's see if we can kind of switch this online. So just getting yourself comfy then, and just taking that breath, first of all, closing your eyes if you want to, and just settling there into the heart space. Okay, so just feeling this space here, the center of your soul. It feels very calm, very peaceful. So just taking a few breaths, allowing that rib cage to expand as you breathe into this area. So in through the nose and out through the mouth, letting go as you breathe out. And just a couple of rounds here into the heart space. Okay. And just calling in the dragons, calling in the Magdalene dragons, Sophia dragons, or your guide, your personal guide to help you and to guide you. And now just taking that breath a little lower. And if you want to, you can hold one hand on your heart space and one hand on your womb space, on your belly there. And then just breathing a little lower into that womb space now. So now just begin to notice the rise and the fall of your belly as that air expands into every cell of your body. Okay. And now just allowing that energy to drop down to the root and down through your legs and to the earth below. We're just going to take it a little bit deeper today through the Earth Star chakra, which is a few inches below your feet, and anchor down into the deep belly of Gaia, drawing up that womb wisdom into your own. And keep drawing it up through your hearts, up above your crown, and connecting to that source light, allowing this light to come down, back through the heart, and feeling that connection of the womb and the heart together, expanding outwards from the heart, expanding out into your room. Okay. Now just feeling with that hand on your heart and the other hand on your womb, and perhaps asking yourself, am I more in my heart at the moment? And just feel, sense, or know what is true to you. And then feeling down into that womb area. Am I in my womb more than my heart? And again, feel, sense what is true to you. There's no right or wrong. And then from this womb, we're going to feel a spiral extending around the entire width of your womb. And allow that spiral to resonate upwards in a figure of 8 formation around your heart. So just see, sense, or feel this spiral moving, this energy around the womb, the heart, the womb, the heart, the womb, the heart, in a figure of 8 formation. And begin to feel a connection between your womb and your heart. So a connection there between your dragon womb and your dragon heart energy. Feeling that coming back online. And now just from that womb energy and your root, feeling into any vision that you might have. A vision that is waiting to be birthed. And drawing down that vision from your crown, drawing it down into your heart. Knowing that it feels true to you, that you're in alignment with your soul and your truth. Draw that vision back down into your womb. And allowing it to form into your dragon tail, anchoring your dragon tail into the earth below. And just feeling, sensing that you're a step closer to bringing this vision, whatever it may be, into physical form. Drawing that energy back into the heart and feeling and sensing perhaps the shoulders, your wings unfurling like a spiral and growing and extending the width of your arms. And perhaps allowing for this vision that you have to take flight. So expanding it outwards. So not only anchored into physical form through your dragon tail, but also expanded outwards to share with others. Encouraging you to be in your full sovereignty. So the dragons here are reminding us to have courage. To have courage to bring all your visions through that are in alignment with your heart. Those visions and ideas, and birth them out through your womb. Okay, so just coming back into that center now, into your heart center, the center of your soul, and taking a few breaths again into that space. And the dragons are reminding us that if we ever feel this disconnect between a vision and birthing it out into physical form, then to come back into these two spaces and just connect which one are you in? Are you in your womb or are you in your heart? And to just begin drawing that figure of 8 to really deepen this connection between your dragon womb and your dragon heart. Okay. So just taking a couple more breaths and just knowing that you're back in the room, wherever you may be sitting, lying. And whenever you feel ready, just open your eyes. Okay, so taking a glass of water if you need it. Just grounding yourself again. So I'm going to read to you this dragon light code then, and this is part of the Dragon Rose light healing that I'll be bringing through, hopefully maybe for next year, as part of the Sophianic Spiral of the Dragon Rose. So you can see here that this dragon has these this spiral coil and connects down into the earth and the womb of Gaia, so holds this earthy feel. So this dragon energy light code then is to awaken the Sophianic divine feminine energy within. And you do this by drawing up your creative chaos dragon energy from the center of the universe and allow this energy to activate through your dragon tail, expanding at the womb heart, opening your dragon wings. Take flight as you surrender to your soul's mission. So we have just brought our dragon womb heart more online through connecting that, the masculine from above and the feminine energies from below. And, we can see this reflected in the teachings of the tree of life. The tree of life has these huge branches that reach up to Father Sky, and this is that masculine protective energies, and it is mirrored by the feminine energies, which are the roots of the tree that extend downwards into the earth. And some of these teachings, also, if you want to know more about the womb energy, you can do so with. There's a book called Womb Healing or the Mary Magdalene Mysteries with Sarah and Ezra Bertrand. And I've done some of their courses with them, which have been really, really good. But this also, they have found the same information with the spiraling and the twinning of these powerhouses or chakra centers. So it seems like, that the dragon energy here is, sort of bringing this back online. It's these old ancient feminine teachings that are coming back through. So I'd just like to wrap up with one more card. And this one says, you are the creator of your reality, but you do not create your reality per se. You align to the frequency of the experience you desire, as all realities already exist. So I shall leave you with that one. So thank you so much if you've listened this far. And as I say, all of these different channelings here are from behind me here, the Dragon Wisdom Codes Oracle card deck. And hopefully there will be a link below. If I've got it all sorted by then, it will be ready for you to purchase if you so desire. And if you want to find out more about the teachings of, say, Mary Magdalene, the dragons, and the Sophianic Spiral of the Dragon Rose, then there will be a link as well to my signature course. And there's a code as well for a discount if you wanted to explore that with me. I'd be really honoured to have you join me. Okay, so thank you so much again for listening, for your presence, for being here. Bye for now.
Thank you for journeying with us today on the English Mystic Podcast, Dragon Thunder Summit 2025 edition. This is just one voice, one frequency in a greater dragon symphony, each echoing across the earth right now. If you felt the stir in your heart, if you heard a whisper from your dragon allies, then the work is beginning. Be sure to explore all 36 epic speakers and their transmissions by heading over to the website www.dragonthunder2025.com, where the portal is open. Until next time, walk boldly with your dragons, speak your truth like fire, and may your path be guided by the ancient winds. Stay mystical, stay wild, stay dragon aligned. This is the English Mystic. See you next time.
In the realm where spirits dance, where dragons soar with fiery glance, a song of power, strength untold, for human hearts, for young and old. Wings that span the starry night, scales that gleam with ancient light. Dragons rise, guardians bold, tales of healing, tales untold. Almighty ones, wise and grand, protectors of this sacred land. With breath of fire, a timeless art, they heal and mend each wounded heart. Through shadows deep and forests wide, they guide us with a noble stride. In the dance of life, a sacred chance to heed the call of dragon trance. Scale by scale, a shield they weave. In the moonlit night, their magic breathe. Whispers of protection, strong and true. In the realm where dreams come through. So gather round, O kin of earth. Let the dragon's melody give birth to healing streams and fiery light, as we journey through the shaman's night. O dragons, ancient and divine, your friendship like the stars will shine. In the tapestry of life, a song we weave with spirits, dragons, hearts believe.